There is a kind of rejection that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't shout. It doesn't insult you. It doesn't tell you that you are unwanted. It simply exists, quietly, in the background of your life. Living in the moments that should have felt different, the moments that should have felt warmer, the moments where something was missing, even if you couldn't explain what it was. And as time passes, you begin to carry it, not as a memory, but as an identity. You begin to believe that maybe you were not the first choice. Maybe you were not the right choice. Maybe you were just there. Marsia grew up inside that silence. Nothing about her life looked broken from the outside. She was cared for. She was provided for. She was not abused. She was not abandoned. But she was not fully seen either. Her father had hoped for a son, and although he never said those words, they lived in the space between them. He never pushed her away, but he never pulled her close with pride. He never looked at her like she was the dream he had been waiting for. And children understand more than adults realize. They feel the truth in what is missing. They notice when their presence does not create joy. They notice when their existence feels neutral instead of celebrated. And without anyone meaning to, she began to feel like she had entered the world as the wrong answer to someone else's question. So she learned to adjust. She learned to become someone who did not need too much, someone who did not expect too much, someone who could survive on emotional distance and call it strength. She became independent long before she was ready. She became strong long before she was supported. She became silent long before she found her voice. And as she grew older, that silence followed her, into her decisions, into her relationships, into the way she saw herself. Because when you grow up feeling unchosen, you begin to live like you must earn your place in the world. You begin to believe that love is something you must prove yourself worthy of. You begin to believe that who you are is not enough on its own. And maybe you know that feeling. Maybe you know what it is like to question your worth without knowing exactly when that question began. To stand in a room and feel invisible. To exist inside conversations, but not inside hearts. To wonder if you would be missed if you were not there. Not because someone told you that you didn't matter, but because no one showed you that you did. But what you didn't realize then, and what Marsia didn't realize then, is that silence does not have the power to define you, unless you accept it as truth, because the absence of someone else's recognition does not mean the absence of your value. It never did. It never will. Your worth was never something they created, which means it was never something they could take away. Marsia spent years believing she had to become more in order to finally be enough. But one day, she realized something that changed her forever. She realized she had been enough in every moment she thought she wasn't. She realized she had been worthy in every moment she felt unworthy. She realized that rejection was never proof of her weakness. It was proof of her survival. Because despite everything, she was still standing. She was still growing. She was still becoming. And that is when her life began to shift. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because she did. She stopped waiting to be chosen. She stopped waiting to be validated. She stopped waiting for permission to believe in herself. She gave that permission to herself. And in that moment, she took her power back. She took her identity back. She took her life back. Because rejection did not break her. It revealed her. It revealed her strength. It revealed her resilience. It revealed who she really was. And this is where your story changes too. Because you were never meant to stay in the shadow. You were never meant to spend your life proving your worth. You were never meant to carry the weight of someone else's expectations. You were meant to rise. One day, you will look back and realize the silence did not destroy you. It built you. It prepared you. It strengthened you. It introduced you to yourself. And when that day comes, you will rise differently. You will walk differently. You will see yourself differently. Because you will no longer be the person waiting to be chosen. You will be the person who chose themselves. You were